What up, fam, and welcome to a very late, but at least it's ready edition of the Daily 5. As always, I'm your host, Mike Deasy, and because this one was supposed to be delivered on this past Monday, the 15th, let's just get into it. So, first up is, excuse me, Palestinians and Hitler. By now, you all should know who Hitler is, based upon your watching of the Daily 5 when it comes on. Okay, here we go. It would seem that Hitler started his weekly routine of insulting people early. We already know that Donald had the nerve to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel when Hitler has no rights on that situation whatsoever. Then recently, Donald decided to finally show a shade of his real self by referring to African immigrants and their mother countries as shithole places. We understand our African brothers and sisters in their respective countries' governments being upset with Donald for his words, but let's be honest. Are you really that surprised? I mean, who are we talking about here? Donald is known for saying off racist statements already. At one point, during Donald's circus of a campaign, Hitler spoke these words: "I like those people," when he was calling himself praising the black church. So Donald could insult blacks from America by, my dear, if Donald can insult blacks from America, dear African family, why would you think he would spare you? And we're distant relatives, so why do you think he would spare you if he already doesn't think much of blacks living in America? You really think he cares about you? Blacks in America care more about you than Donald ever will. Anyway, in response to Hitler's ridiculous words about Jerusalem, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas called Donald's peace proposal a slap of the century, or the slap of the century. Excuse me. Our dear Palestinian brother went further in giving Hitler a taste of his own medicine by telling Donald, "I hope your house is destroyed," a famous insult among Arab people. Mr. Abbas, there are many people in the States who join you in your thoughts regarding Donald. Though I said that very monotone, again, to Mr. Abbas of Palestine, our dear brother in Palestine, we are with you in that idea. Number 2, Seal out of tune, or Seal singing out of tune. Seal accuses Madam President Winfrey of being part of the problem in Hollywood, but the question is, did Madam President Winfrey know then about, she is reported to have known about Weinstein's issues, but let's be honest. There's hearing the idea of it, and then there's knowing in fact. The fact that, based on Oprah's character and her general stand on violence against women, it's safe to say that Madam President did not know that Weinstein was in fact guilty, because if she did, or that Weinstein had actually done what he done, because if Madam President did know, rest assured Madam President Winfrey would have outed Weinstein herself already. Question, I got myself jumbled up. When have we in the grassroots community known Oprah to hold back from truth? Never. Madam President Winfrey is the living manifestation of the hood term, keeping it 100. So, Seal, yeah. Number 3, Madam President asks hard questions. Speaking of Madam President, speaking of rather what Seal said, a few days after her semi-introduction speech of running and becoming the first woman and woman of color as president, Ms. Winfrey met with a group of women from Hollywood, including Reese Witherspoon, Catherine Kennedy, and Natalie Portman, just to name a few, to ask these ladies their thoughts on men and women in the workplace in Hollywood in the aftermath of men being exposed for molesting and or raping actresses in Hollywood. Need to go off script for a moment just to make it explain the use of the terms molestation and rape. There's a special that's coming up on Video Network about, no, if I'm mistaken, it's going to be on a news station in the works called Crescent Productions. But suffice it to say, I do not use the term sexual misconduct for this reason. It sounds ridiculous in the sense that it makes light of what should not be made light. It waters down the offense of a woman being mistreated. Misconduct suggests that the man just somewhat made me feel bad. Not the man literally groped my body as a woman, be it my privates up here or my privates down there, or a man literally violated my body in the form of what's called rape. That is my problem with the term misconduct, which is why I choose purposely not to use the term and instead replace the terms with molestation for the groping of a female's private parts and rape for the obvious. Now, having said that, the overwhelming response from the women that Madam President met with for the interview, the overwhelming response was that men in the workplace should treat women as their as men's fellow human being, instead of respecting the women because the men have a sister, a daughter, a wife, an aunt, a mother. The women, Miss Portman in particular, as well as Miss Witherspoon, suggest treat your fellow female worker like your fellow human instead of looking at her as female. So, to Seal, perhaps you should have listened to the interview that Madam President did before you opened your mouth. Next. Number 4. James Franco joins the accused. As I said a few words ago, calling molestation and rape sexual misconduct is an insult to the offense made. An offense that James Franco has been accused of by women whom he mentored and taught at his acting school. If Franco did molest or even rape these women, then James needs to be dealt with the same way as was expressed in Violence Against Women, the special Violence Against Women edition of The Message. If you haven't watched that episode, after you're done with today's portion of the Daily 5, do check out that special presentation of The Message. That special presentation, Violence Against Women, I cannot stress enough that every woman in the world needs to hear that message. Recognizing that particular edition hasn't gotten many views, not that I'm necessarily interested in getting lots of views. I'm more interested in those words and that presentation being heard by women around the world. That's the focus. Less the views are nice, but the preference is for every male watching this watching today's edition of the Daily Five, make sure the women in your family hear that message. For every female viewer of the Daily Five, make sure yourself understand and get that message out to all women that you know. Getting back to the subject. To bother a woman sexually should be all the ammunition a man needs to hurt or kill any male for bothering the women in his family. It's already known that Franco has an unusual way of character. We also know that in Hollywood, women are subject to just about every offense. Another thing to consider if we're going to talk about violence against women in Hollywood, we also have to include the adult industry, because the reality is women are used and thrown out more in the world of pornography than in any other part of the entertainment industry. While I acknowledge all us men view adult entertainment at one point or another, that's a fact of reality. None of us, we can deny it all we want to. Facts are facts. We men are just as accountable for our views as the men who perform in adult film. What I'm saying is, let's not just focus on Hollywood alone. Let us also focus on both Hollywood and the adult industry and politics. Wherever we men are at, let's focus on all the areas that women as humans first, and female gender second, can work peacefully among us without the stress of having to question, worry, or be bothered with a male molesting or even threatening, or in fact going the very disgusting route of rape. Number 5. The grand molester of them all. If you've been watching the Daily Five enough, you know that as of late, at some point in the broadcast, this man's going to be mentioned, because I have a personal campaign against this man. Yes, you've guessed it, it's Hitler. And of course, we're not talking about Adolf. We're talking about Donald. Recently, Donald was seen by White House physician Ronnie Jackson. Dr. Jackson acknowledged that Hitler needs to lose some weight, but outside of Donald's having gained some possible 11 pounds due to his regular visits to McDonald's, Jackson says Donald is in good health. My quotation, not his. What Dr. Jackson will not speak on is Hitler's mental health. Dr. Jackson made it clear that if Donald wants to reveal his mental health, he may. But Dr. Jackson cannot force Hitler to do so. Well, once again, we in the grassroots community we know that we do not need Dr. Ronnie Jackson to tell us what is clear. Not only is Donald overweight more than our real vacationing president, Barack Obama. Again, the Oval Office is, for lack of better wording, vacant, because Miss Clinton is not in the proper spot, and Hitler is. Barack is on a vacation, so the Oval Office is just open. Having said that, we know that Hitler is mentally unstable, and because Donald is as likely to reveal his mental health record as he is to send aid to Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, all sane people of the United States know that Donald will not have tax dollars billed. We know that Donald will have tax used to build his wall before he admits he's cuckoo. With that said, this edition of the late edition of the Monday, July 15th edition of the Daily Five is done. As always, click the red button for subscribing, like it, comment down below. Of course, the traditional, if you don't want to comment down below, then comment there. Alright. With that said, stay woke and be back later on for the July 16th edition of the Daily Five. So just bear with me and get things prepared later.